everybody, welcome to Mrs. Calabash Cooks. Come into my kitchen, it's Maggie. Let's see if we can get the boys on.
20 bucks.
Hi Jabba. They're in Montreal. Okay, so here we go. Let's see if I can kill them. Sorry. No, that's not what I want to do. So, there we are, it's gone. Sorry guys, I didn't mean to cut you off like that, but it's not my phone and I don't know how to use it. So today we've gone Indian. I've got an Indian kick. And my inspiration for the Indian food is Mahir Jeffries. I love her food. I've never had a recipe go wrong that with me. And we're doing a Goan shrimp curry. Now Goa is on the Indian west coast, and it is very much a tourist destination. And according to Mahir Jeffries, the best food are the little shacks on the seaside. And she said the food is fantastic. And so with that, we're going to do a coconut a coconut rice using jasmine rice, and a mixed citrus green salad, which you can eat either with your curry or as a first course, or if you're doing the French after you've eaten the curry, and it will just clean your palate. So to begin with, we're going to make the coconut rice, because this takes 30 minutes to cook in the oven. So I have actually prepared one beforehand, just in case we need a little bit of time with the cooking. So follow me over to for the stove. I've had the stove on at 350 for about half an hour. So we're going to take this out now. And you will notice, oh, that's hot, that I've got some tin foil in there. Let's get rid of that. And so we need to just fluff this up with a fork like that. And because we've got for this, you really do need a good strong pan that you can put in the oven and it will retain its heat. Now, a jasmine rice is a sticky rice, so it's not light and fluffy like a basmati. So I'm going to put that 15 minutes. So that's why you need a pan that's going to retain its heat. So I'm going to put that out of the way over here. There we are. So to make the coconut rice, again, have a good strong pan. I've got, come on, light, there we are. I've got my cast iron pans, and you need to get the pan warm. Don't put it on straight away onto a high heat, because you're going to break the enamel. Mine's already been stood on the stove top, so it's nice and warm. Oil in there. It's just 3 tablespoons full of vegetable or canola oil. We need that to get warm. You can see I've got my hand over the top, and that means that I can tell when the oil is hot. And we've got some raw peppercorns here, and we're actually going to fry the peppercorns off for a couple of minutes. That is nice and warm. So we just put the peppercorns in there. And this, they get aromatic and it breaks down the shell. It's a very simple recipe, but it does take a little bit of time and patience. You can hear them start to crackle now. Look, they're popping. And so some turmeric, a little turmeric in there, like that. And I want to put a little salt in there because we cook the salt with the turmeric and the peppercorns. So we just stir that nicely like that, just for a minute or two. And it's nice and aromatic, otherwise the spices taste raw. Now we're going to add some onions, and we just cook these until they're golden. You can cook the onions before you add the turmeric. It doesn't really matter, but we just want to cook them until they're golden. So keep stirring because we don't want to brown them too much, but we want to bring out the sweetness. Like that. Now I've rinsed the rice. The rice, very often, in the old days you used to buy rice and it had little bits in it. It doesn't anymore. But by rinsing the rice, it does actually just remove some of the starch around the edge. And this is what causes the rice to go clumpy. So, want to just turn that down. I don't want it to get over hot, but by cooking the rice like this, we're coating the rice in the spices and the oil. I've got coconut milk. I can't get into. There we are. So we're going to add the coconut milk. I always like a certain type of coconut milk. This one just has coconut extract and water. A lot have thickening in, and we don't need that. And so we're going to add a can of water to the rice, like that. We're going to bring that up to the boil. We need to bring it to a rolling boil. Let's just wipe the surface down like that. So, there we are. We're going to bring that to the rolling boil. I like just to keep stirring for a while whilst we're bringing it up, because we don't want it to stick. And that will go in the oven for about 30 minutes. We'll fluff it up with a fork. It's on at 350, and then it stands for 15 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes. So we just got to be patient with that for a minute or two, bring it to a rolling boil. Now if you don't want a sticky rice, then use a basmati rice. That's a much finer rice, but I like the stickiness of a jasmine rice. There we are. There we are. That won't be that will be just there for a minute. We'll just keep an eye on that, because whilst that's cooking, we're going to toast the walnuts for the salad. So I've got a crepe pan. It's this pan isn't used for anything else other than crepes. It's what I had when I lived in Quebec. We always had a crepe pan. In fact, I've got two, because it's no good just having one. Yeah, somebody's sort of waiting for the crepes. So there we are. Again, you can see I'm putting my hand over the top just to see how it's getting. And these nuts will only take a minute or two, but by toasting again, you bring out the flavour. So we just need a few toasted nuts like that. This is coming to the boil, so we're working with two hands. There we are. We can turn that off, because with it being cast, it holds the heat, and we just need some aluminum foil to go in there. Put it on like that so that we've got a good seal. We don't want any of the steam to escape. Put it in at 350 and let it cook. So we'll just move this over to this side. Whoops, wrong one. There we are. You see, this is the the highest burner, the highest BTUs. So we just use those for a minute or two. Doesn't take long. Keep an eye on them, because they can burn, especially if you're doing almonds. You look away and then you've got toasted almonds, really toasted almonds. So we're going to leave those, put them over there, and that's the nuts just toasted gently. So let's put this back. You notice I don't use enough little hands, and I find them very thick. I find a towel and a tea towel much easier. So now, whilst that's cooking, the rice is cooking, we're going to actually make the salad. And so for this, we've got orange juice and we've got oil, just a little sugar, poppy seeds, and orange rind. Now, this is where it gets interesting, because we've got grapefruit and a little mandarin orange, some pineapple, grapes, and there we are. Now I'm going to show you how to just do I've lost it. Here we are. I kept it in the fridge because it's 2 red grapefruit. Well, it depends how big the grapefruit. I'm only going to do a small amount of salad, because I really don't have a large salad bowl, and this makes quite a lot. So this is the same if you want to take the skin off any citrus fruit, be it a lemon, an orange. You see, it's quite a thick skin with a grapefruit. We need to go a little bit more. It's amazing how small amount you actually get out. That goes in my compost. So a nice thin paring knife, and you press down like that. Just keep going round. We don't want any of that pith on. This is a good way of using oranges when sometimes they've gone just past eating and you want to use them. That's not quite taken it off. As I say, we don't want any pith left. You can do a lemon, a lime, anything like that. Let's just remove this over here. So you see, we don't get such an awful lot of grapefruit out of a grapefruit. So then just take a knife and turn the knife and go up the other side, that side. So you can see, take the knife and just go up the other side. And that is all there is to doing segmented fruit. You could do a California salad, which is just grapefruit, and it's rather a nice starter. Now I'm not going to waste that juice. That's going in my salad dressing, because we're going to do a poppy seed dressing, which is rather nice. So look, if you don't take it all in one go, just go back up like that. There we are. Oh look, we found a pip. So we can take that out. Up. Well, like that. And we've got one more. The last one is sometimes a little bit difficult. There we are. Squeeze that like that. Just wash my hands. So we're going to put the fruit in with some field greens. I like field greens with this. So we're going to put some pineapple in there. We've got some grapes. These were little red grapes, so I didn't bother cutting them in half. These have all been washed. Pineapple, some grapefruit in there. This is a nice refreshing salad for the summer because you can put it in the fridge. There we are. We'll hang on to that. And some mandarin oranges. Now, I'm putting mandarin oranges in. You could put some fresh orange in. If you've got some nice fresh oranges, put some of that in. And all that just needs mixing together. I find, there we are. We just want to mix it, but we don't want to take away from the colour because it looks rather nice, all that colour on there. And when we put the dressing on, we're going to put the toasted walnuts on the top. So let's get rid of this. Yeah. So now we've got orange juice. When you're with orange, you can, because we've got orange rind here. You can use your orange juice to make the dressing, but I find it's not really strong enough. So I cheat and I buy a carton of orange juice and then we can drink it with the salad. So I find it just gives a nicer salad dressing. But we've got all the other fruits there, so we can use that. Orange rind. This is an excellent way of using an orange up that you've had in the fridge or in the fruit bowl. A little vinegar. This is white wine vinegar. a tiny amount of sugar. It just needs that to take away the acidness of the vinegar. Poppy seeds. I was wondering if I planted those, if they would grow, but I think they might have had some process done to them. We're going to whisk that up together, like that, and then we're going to whisk the oil in just to make an emulsion. Just drizzle the oil in. I'm going to taste that just to make sure that it has got enough flavour. I'm going to add a drop of grapefruit juice to that. We don't want to waste those. Let's just taste that again. That's better. The sharpness of the grapefruit juice. And so we don't need, I'm just seeing, it makes 15 cups. Well, it doesn't seem to make such a vast amount, but you don't need an awful lot of dressing on there. I'm just going to put a little on like that, because you can keep this in the fridge. It will keep in the fridge for about 3 days. We don't want to make it too oily. That looks good. Put that over there. And we've got our nuts. Now, instead of putting it in a bowl, you could put it directly on plate. Do a nice little plate of greenery and the fruit on the top. Just make sure with this, when you make sure that nobody's got a nut allergy, because you've heard before, I did put a very good friend of mine in hospital on my 60th birthday, making a Mahir Jeffries recipe again. She didn't tell me she was allergic to almonds, and so she spent the night in intensive care. So I checked everything else with her, but it was just the almonds, and she was very, very allergic. She only got it to there. So I'm always now very careful. So just make sure that somebody isn't actually allergic to the nuts. So that's the salad. You see, very easy to prepare. The longest thing to make in this meal is the rice. So just make the rice beforehand. Just wipe my table down. There we are. So now we're going to do the shrimp. Again, we have coconut milk, spices, onion, oil, vinegar. The shrimp are in the fridge. Here we are. I've used the frozen shrimp today, so the shrimp are in the fridge. So we're going to take all this over to the back and we're going to cook it in the wok. There we are. Whoops, it's not very stable on there. So take the recipe and look, you can see I've ticked everything off as I prep. I'm very good at leaving something out. I've got a cast iron wok in the garage, but it's so heavy I can't lift it. So we just need to bring this up to heat.
Light on.
Come. Which one? That one?
Yeah.
There we are. So we're going to bring this up to the heat. Again, hand over, just to make sure. The rice isn't quite cooked yet. There we are. That's got nice and warm. So again, vegetable oil, grapeseed oil. You don't use olive oil in Indian cooking. It has a different taste. There we are. So we're going to put the onions in. Again, don't have the heat too high under the onions because it's going to burn. But we want to soften the onions and bring out the sweetness. And we've got the spices. I'm going to have to read these out to you. We've got cayenne pepper, paprika pepper, black pepper and turmeric. So all those spices are going to make the curry. So you'll see there's not actually any commercial curry powder in this. You get all the flavour from just adding the spices. Each family, I had a friend in France from India, and she said each family has its own recipe for its curry powder and its way of making curry. And if she was making a meat curry, she would never make it the day of. She would always make it the day before and just let it sit there. And we used to have potlucks because there was quite a few expats from various countries living in the Mayenne. And so the weather was gorgeous. We'd have big trestle tables out in the gardens and the fields. Everybody would bring something. There'd be wine, fantastic food, music, and a really good evening. So you can see these are just beginning to turn. I'm going to put it up. Like that. There we are. I'm just getting instructions what to do, as you will probably notice. So they are a nice brown. So we're going to add the spices now. Stir them around. And we want to stir these till they become nice and aromatic. So turn down the heat because they can burn really, really quickly. They're beginning to smell rather nice. Now we're going to add the coconut milk. Turn the heat up a little bit because we want to bring the heat up on the coconut milk. We want first, and then we're going to add the lemon juice and the shrimp, and we're going to cook the shrimp until it turns just pink. So this again is a very, very quick dish. This is what I like about this food. It's so quick and easy to make. You're not stood over the stove for hours on end. There we are. Now that's coming up. We don't want to overheat. I'm going to add the lemon juice. The recipe says 1 to 2 tablespoonfuls of lemon juice. I like to put 2 in because I do like the sharpness of the lemon juice. There you are. You see, it's just beginning to come up to simmer. There's the shrimp. So we're going to stir everything round until the shrimp is cooked. Excuse me. The spice is getting to me. It's a sign of good spice. So we just gently cooking that, and it's a bit difficult to see when it's going to turn pink because of the colour of the sauce. But the shrimp will go like that, sort of form a little pinwheel when it's cooked. It doesn't take long to cook. Now, I'm using shrimp today, but you could always make this with, you could do a salmon, a scallop, you could do a pork, chicken. I would just cook the pork a little, just saute, and chicken breast, just saute a little bit, and then put it in here and cook. And I'm going to taste this. It's almost there. You can see, let's see if I can find one. You see the shrimp, how it's curling round. Like that. Let's taste that. That to me needs a little more salt, a touch of pepper. It's quite spicy, not overpoweringly spicy, but quite spicy. And that is just about cooked. Almost there. Just a minute or two more and then it's ready. So you see, it's very, very quick and easy. Let me... Yes. Yes, yes, yes. We've got it. Lovely. I'm just going to leave that on to simmer. I've got it on as low as possible to keep it warm whilst I just check the rice. Let's just clean this. But it won't be cooked because it has to sit. So that's why I did the other rice. So here we go. Oh, that's coming. It's not cooked yet. I'm going to leave that. Just fluff it with the fork, like that. And we can let that sit for 15 minutes or so. So let's turn off the oven. Let's leave that there. Now, I'm going to have to cook some pasta for Fussy for Nickety Fants over there, because he won't eat rice. So let's have a look. We can actually lift the top off now. I'm going to serve it in this dish like this. I need a spoon. So I'm going to put rice at the bottom here. Like that. And you eat the peppercorns in with the rice. Like so. There we are. So have a nice bowl. I'm going to have to put that over there. Bring this over here like this. So all the juice goes into the rice. You don't want to waste any of that juice. Like that. And actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take one or two of these slices of orange and just decorate the top. Just to give a little bit of interest, like that. I need another one. There we are, just to give a little bit of interest. And so that is the rice, the curry with the coconut rice. And let me just wipe down my board. So we're going to serve it we've got a plate here to serve the salad with. So now you can decide whether you're going to have the salad first or after or with. So let's just have some salad on the plate. Make sure that you have plenty of the fruit, like that, like so, to dish up the and there's the curry to go with it, and we serve this with a nice glass of orange juice. I've got some orange slices in there to add some flavour. There's one. Bon appetit. And that's my class for the day, and thank you very much for coming into Mrs. Calabash Cook's Kitchen, and bye, and we'll see you next Friday.